Classroom Management for Elementary Teachers. It's a pretty traditional book. I got it back when I started my teacher prep program in 2009. It's pretty traditional in its tone and its strategies. It does, it mentions some more progressive ideas, but it has some qualifiers, some statements that follow new research that's coming out saying, yeah, some of the traditions, they gotta go. For example, it refers to a teacher's authority. It's just this one page that they mention, teacher's authority in the classroom is based on 4 factors. So it's pretty interesting that things like the traditional authority is when students obey the adult in the room. And that concept of obey, that's a tough word that they use in this book, and what comes with it is a sense of do what you're told without explanation. And while there's a time and place for that, having it as a tenet for your classroom management approach, it's pretty for across the board. It's tough. That's a tough one for me. The bureaucratic authority is another factor where your hierarchy of rules and punishments, if this then that type of blanket policies. That's another one they quote. The expert and professional authority. People are going to come to you as the authority because of your expertise. That's fair. And then there's always the charismatic authority, where if you are appealing, if you are expressive, people are going to be more inclined to come to you for advice or knowledge or help. So those 4 factors is just one aspect of this book. But as far as that traditional, that underlying traditional tone to a lot of what's in this book, for example, each day of the school year, you will give your students assignments, and they will be expected to complete them in the classroom or at home. Pretty basic idea, and it's not really groundbreaking, but there's a lot of those statements where the teacher is the one making all of the decisions for all of the students. That's a very common thread in this book. Students need a clear idea of what their assignments are and what is expected of them. This means that you must be able to explain all requirements and features of all assignments. Well, the problem with that is, once again, that mentality is taught to students who then look at teachers as the ones with all of the answers. So the idea that another student might have heard and understood the first time and can then relay information is never addressed. So that sense of community isn't really developed as much when a lot of what this book is professing is saying the teacher is the one that has the answers, that has the means, the knowledge, the capacity, and the students are to do what they're told. It does mention things like fostering individual responsibility, but only when you, the teacher, set the expectations. And while there's some truth to that, they quickly follow that up 1 or 2 sentences later with saying how adding additional assessments for individuals, differentiating, on top of group assessments, it may increase the amount of time that teachers must spend on planning and preparation and grading. See the tone there? It's starting to shift back on how much more work it is for you as the teacher to manage even more work that you are deciding on. That tone. Back in 2009 when I started my teacher prep program, this is one of the books of one of my classroom management classes that started me on my way. and this book has a copyright of 2009, the year I started my program. So this was a new book. This was new. And these were the ideas being taught, being professed in my teacher prep program. So I keep this one to remind myself where things were, where things are, and for me, where things can be. Yeah, so that's this book. Check it out.